we just finished 2 weeks of training camp, pardon me, and really, really pleased with the progress that we've been able to make in 2 weeks. We've had 12 practices. We've had 2 scrimmage days. We used today as a scrimmage day. Got a lot of work done with our ones and try to be smart with them and keep them healthy. And then we let our young guys, our 2s and 3s, just kind of battle out there and scrimmage and play ball and gain some experience in Canvas Stadium. Just very pleased with our progress. We're incorporating some new players into our system. We've been fairly injury-free. We've had a couple guys. Newer has had a foot deal that's held him out. Hopefully he'll be back next week. Brayden the first week had a hand injury that was not serious, but we wanted to be smart with him. He's back out there now. On the most part, we've been able to keep guys fairly healthy. So it's been a good camp. We're emphasizing physicality and speed. We want to be fast. We want to play with great effort, and we want to be physical. And so those are the emphasis we've made on camp. Seen a lot of progress in those regards. We want to be a team that doesn't have to rely on calls to beat people. We want to be able to fundamentally block and tackle, run the football, stop the run, not give up big plays defensively. And so those are the things we've been emphasizing, and we're seeing a lot of progress from our kids. Our focus is to be the very best we can be. And so every day we come out here and we're trying to stretch the limits of our peak performance of the type of team we could be. And there's a lot that goes into that on a daily basis, and we spend a lot of time talking about that. We'll vote for captains on Friday, and we'll announce them on Saturday. We got a lot of veteran leadership on this team, and got guys that have played a lot of games, guys like Jacob Gardner and Tory Horton and Jack Howell and Henry Blackburn, Cam Baritow. We got a lot of veteran leadership. So I appreciate those guys. They've done a good job of leading thus far, and now we want to transition into, our in-season schedule. We got 2 more days of practice. We want to really, we're going to work on some different opponent things, some things we haven't seen in camp. We've got all our installs in to where we could go play a game. And so in that regard, it's been a good camp. Next Monday, we'll start on Texas. We'll get 2 weeks on the Longhorns. So,
Jay, there's a lot of new technology entering college football this year. Today, you got a chance to work with tablets, replays, things like that. How valuable was that for your staff to get that in during a scrimmage?
Yeah, so, with the new rule changes, we got a lot of technology this year. We got coach-to-player communication on both sides of the ball. And we had it in the spring, so we had a chance to work it in the spring and then all training camp. And that's going to be good, I think. That's a good add to college football. Change some of the signaling in the game. We still play a different game than the NFL, so I think you'll see us college guys use it a little differently than the NFL guys use it. And then our tablets, the tablets, today was the first day we got a chance to work with the tablets. It's really good technology. High schools been using it for the last few years, and we haven't been able to. So, we go to a high school game and they got tablets and big TV screens on the sideline, and we can't use it. So it's been good, and we got a chance to use that today. You can get through a lot of looks and a lot of plays in a short amount of time, and so that was good. We'll get another chance Saturday to use those, and we'll get another chance in our mock game a week from Saturday to go through all that game day technology. So that was good.
Rumor has it you're not the most technologically advanced person on the staff, so how was it?
I'm like Bill Belichick. I don't do snap face and none of that stuff. I don't do that stuff. No, I'm not into social media. What's that?
You seem to enjoy going over plays with Brayden on the sidelines and doing that.
No, it's
Did you
cool.
do a
It's
quick study?
it's very cool technology, and coach the player is very cool. I mean, there's a lot of time throughout the game when you can talk to a player about his mindset, the situation. We used to have to call timeout to talk to him, but now, I could tell Brayden, hey, this is a situation. We don't have to force the ball here. We want to try to keep the clock running. It's 4 minutes. There's a lot of coaching points you can give that'll help him settle down. And, and you can still talk to the player until it reaches 15. So there's some coaching points you can do pre-snap that can help the player too. So it's exciting. It's fun. It can bring some more creativity to the game, which we love. We're always trying to be more creative. And then the tablets, you can go through a lot of plays in a short amount of time. See the pre-snap look on a deal. They brought the will, go to the next play. They played a wide 9 on this one, go to the next play. The safety was down, go to the next play. It's quarters. You got a shot at the post. There's a lot of things that you can talk about in a short amount of time. So just helps the players be more knowledgeable. And a lot of times we had to rely on information from the box. Hey, it was a 9 technique in this play, or it was a 7, or it was a 3, or the safety was down, or he wasn't down, or he had to rely on a player to tell you what he saw. And sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's not. So this just really helps us cut to the chase and really see what happened on a play so we can coach it and make adjustments.
You addressed some of the new realities of college football many times, but is this still, can it still be as fun and as fulfilling for you as a football player?
Yeah, it is going to be for me. I mean, I ain't going to do it unless it's fun. And, we play the only sport that it's mostly like work most of the time. I mean, we're not like basketball. We just can't go out and play a game, When we practice, it's work. I mean, we got to, block people. We got to put heavy pads on. You get banged up and sore. But, no, we're going to make it fun. If you come to Colorado State, it's going to be fun. Okay, I can't speak for other schools, but we like to have fun. It's supposed to be fun. We want to put our players in a position where they can have some fun. And, I mean, we put Tommy Pahosky in there. He ain't got a snap all camp, and he went right down the field, threw a big bomb on his first play. And that was fun. And you had a whole bunch of guys on the sideline getting excited about it. I mean, we're going to have some fun around here. And we've been the young kids on the playground. It hadn't been that fun, but we're going to start having a lot of fun now. And we got kids that like to play. We like our team. And it's time for our team and our fans to have some fun.
There was some really good showings from the wide receivers today. You saw Tory get that one ball on the first play, and then Jamari had some nice plays. Jordan had some good plays. And you got to see kind of the now versus the future. Do you feel like you finally established a really good pipeline to getting those players in?
Yeah, I think our reputation's starting to take hold in that, NIL, the first cycle it was all about money. Kids were going to school because of money. Well, I think this time kids started to sober up a little bit, and they wanted to go where they had an opportunity to play. And money's still a factor, but we were able to get some kids that were offered money at other schools, and they came to Colorado State because of the touches they could get, the chance to get their hands on the ball, and what we do with our players here. So, that's important. And it's still about the student-athlete experience. I mean, opportunity to play, you can't put a price on it. And so kids come here because they want to get on the field, they want to make plays, and they know we're going to run a certain style of offense, and they know they're going to get their hands on the ball. And so, I think Armani Winfield's one of those guys. He had a chance to go to Big Ten schools and all that new TV money and all that stuff, but he came here because he wanted to catch balls. And that's important to us. And, and we want guys that are motivated by winning. I tell the players, the season started. I ain't worried about NIL. I ain't worried about transfer portal. I ain't worried about none of that. I want people that are motivated by winning, period. Okay? And so that's what our kids know here, and that's what's important here. And so because of that, we just don't have a lot of nonsense, that we're dealing with. And so, and kids know it, and so I'm excited about that.
How do you feel like the starting offense is executing right now? It seems like they're playing with a lot of pace and
Yeah.
confidence.
I was pleased today. I think we're building, and we're doing some different things that we haven't done, and I think every day we go on the field we're getting better, and the timing and the crispness of everything is better, and it's important that they have confidence in their movement and how plays affect the defense and how they can work and get people open. And I think they're starting to see that from what we're doing in practice. And we have very competitive practices, but every practice is designed for them to learn something about what we're doing offensively. And training camp is a whole part of the pie. So everything we need for the season, we try to practice in 2 weeks, and then we come back and take parts out of it for each opponent. And so, when we start working on Texas, we'll only do a portion of what we're doing. But I think we have a lot of different ways to attack people. We have a lot of different players, versatile players that can put pressure on a defense. And I think our quarterbacks are learning that. And so I've been pretty pleased with how their progress is.
Similar vein, how do you feel Brayden's been since he came back? Where are you seeing from him?
He was super sharp today. I was really impressed with him. And he's learned so much from his experiences last year, and he's got a calmness that he didn't have last year. He's got a little Banny Rooster in him, and he kind of runs hot sometimes, and he just needs to slow down and really see things. And he's pretty aggressive, and so you gotta pull the reins in on him and slow him down a little bit. We had a 4-minute drill. We had man-to-man coverage, and he checks the go ball. He throws it to Tory today. I mean, you kind of want to bite your lip, but you can't argue with the results. So anyway, he's an aggressive kid. He's anxious to get out there and prove what we can do offensively. But I see a different type of leadership in him, and he's more mature. He understands that it's a long season, and that we don't have to go for it every time when we're in the red zone. We have to be smart sometimes and take what they give us. So I think his maturity has helped him, and he's really slowed down. He really is understanding his running game better, which is, I'm proud of him, because that's going to be a big part of how we handle our games this year.
Will that player-coach communication help some of that emotional side too? Like, obviously you can do the X and O's, but like a little reminder here and there.
I'm very calm on the phone. Very calm. And then when I want to yell, I just cut it off and I yell and curse. Then I come back on, I'm calm. But it's seriously, it really does matter. I mean, and you can give some pretty good coaching points, settle down here, we're in good shape, we're already in scoring zone, don't press the ball here. So there are some really great coaching points that we didn't have last year that we can make. And I think it helps a younger player like Brayden. I really think it can help when you're playing a young quarterback, because you can kind of talk them through situations where you couldn't do that before. You have to call timeout or bring them over. But there's a lot of times in between plays where you can just tell a guy to settle down and refocus and get his mind on the right things.
I think we had a touchdown last week. What have you seen out of Vince Brown running with the Horns today?
I'm really proud of Vince. Vince is growing up. With Dallin gone, Vince really wants to prove himself, and he made a huge play last weekend, and he played well today. We need our tight ends to, we had a very productive tight end last year, and I think between Vince and Jackson Warren and Peter Montini, we had, I think Mason made a big play down today on the end zone with Darius Curry. We got a matchup. I mean, all those kids are big, tall kids that can play, and we want to utilize their size mismatch. But I'm proud of Vince. I think Jackson has come a long ways. We're putting him in a lot of situations. He's learning. He should only get better. He's about where Cole Turner was, the tight end we had at Nevada, his senior year, as far as his physicality. And so he's got 3 years. So he's only going to get better. And so we're really excited about that position. That's got to be a productive position for us.
Do you sense that kind of brought a competitive edge out of him bringing in another guy?
No doubt. No doubt. I think the new guys we brought in added to the competitiveness. And, I mean, if you don't have competition at a position, you know, you can get on him as much as you want as a coach, but when they know you'll take him out and sit him on the bench, you know, Bobby Knight was right. You know, the greatest motivator is the bench. And when they know you'll take them out if they don't do what you tell them, that's the best motivation you can get. So, yeah, the competition there, we brought in some D linemen. That competition is cranked up. The new receivers we got, the competition's cranked up. And so, you know, that's been very helpful.
Coached with Jack Moran, Jack Howell, Rocco, Dagan, you know, staying home with their dads having played here and been really good players here in the past. What does that say about this team and this culture and about their families wanting to just keep it?
Well, you got blood that knows we win here. You know, that's important. You know, it's in their blood. They know we win here, Colorado State. There's a history of that, and it means something. It's real to them. And I think that matters. You know, we got Jack Howell. You know, Jack believes we're supposed to play good, and there's a confidence that goes with that rubs off on the other kids. And you know, they know how we're supposed to line up when we play Colorado and when we play Wyoming and when we play Air Force, and that's important. You know, you shouldn't have to tell kids those games are important when they come to Colorado State. So that's important. That history is very important, and them understanding it and living it their whole lives, it brings a lot to our team.
Just going back to Brayden real quick. I mean, you guys obviously recruited him when you were at Nevada. What did you see from him back then? How cool was it kind of see his transition over the last couple of years to becoming the player he is?
You know, I was around Johnny Manziel, and I'm not saying Brayden's Johnny Manziel. I'm not making that comparison. But if you remember, you know, Tim Cassidy recruited Johnny Manziel at A&M, and he was a really long kid with huge hands, and he's super flexible. And Brayden has qualities like that. You know, he's been good on the perimeter. And I think he has mobility and playmaking ability outside the pocket that we haven't always had from a quarterback. And so there are things you can do with him that you can't do with other players. He's very comfortable outside the pocket. He's got spontaneity, which is a quality that you look for in a quarterback. When things break down, he can find a way to make a play. And that goes back to his competitive nature, too. He's super competitive. And, and I think that's probably the part that I'm most pleased of as a coach. I mean, if your quarterback's not ultra competitive, you're going to have a problem along the way. I mean, because you're going to be in a lot of tough situations, and his teammates are going to look at him, and if he's not dialed in and he's not ultra competitive, then they're not going to be able to believe in him. And so Brayden has that. You know, he's won his teammates over and his coaches, and he's stubborn at times, but we'll find a way to work through that.
You guys turned to him pretty early last season. The confidence that you had doing that, did that stem from his high school background, where he obviously moves to Texas as a junior and moves away from JV and leads the team to state championship? Do you have that confidence?
I had confidence in him, and I don't know. I don't think it takes a long time to find that. If you like a kid, Tory Horton was a true freshman, and he was a player. I trusted him. Brayden's the same way. He's just a competitor. You can look at a kid's eyes on the sideline, and you can tell if he wants to be in there or not. And so I trusted Brayden. I knew he was young, and I knew he was inexperienced. So I knew there were going to be glitches and that he was going to learn some tough lessons. But I always knew he would compete and try to make plays for his teammates, and that's really important. And so, and he didn't disappoint. He really didn't disappoint. And he had his moments last year that he definitely has to be better. And I think he understands where he has to be better, but he went out there and competed and tried to make every play and try to help his team win. And that's, you know, that's a good start. Now he's got to clean up some of his areas, but he's off to the right start.
Coach, how difficult is that balance? You want him to be that playmaker, that gunslinger, that
Yeah.
confidence, but you talk about that calmness too. Is that a difficult?
Yeah, we try to help him as much as possible, but I think the biggest thing is that as a coach, I mean, you can only tell them so many things. They got to experience hardship and pain, and when they do, they learn from that. And we did last year. You know, it was tough. You know, the Utah State game was tough on the road. The Wyoming game was tough on the road. Those are competitive games where we did some good things, but we didn't do enough. And those sting, man. But he learned from those games, and so you know, I think he's much wiser and he has a better plan, and that's going to show. And he understands his teammates better and where he can use his teammates. I think that's one of the most important things as a quarterback is somebody gives you the keys to a car, you got to know what you're driving, right? And you got to know what it can do. And I think he knows his players way better now and knows his running game better and knows what can get him out of a tough situation. And sometimes you just got to ride through tough situations until things get better. And I think he'll learn that this year.
Coach, your messages look day to day, but do you know what the opportunity this season opener against Texas? When do you kind of ring them in and let them not look too far ahead of that opportunity you have ahead of you right now?
Yeah, we've been thinking about Texas. We're getting ready for Texas. You know, what we've tried to work on in training camp is us. You know, I'm not really worried about Texas as much as I am us. I want to play the best we can play, and you know, every game is a different path to victory. You know, we're gonna have to play Texas different than we play certain other teams, and so we'll start zeroing in on the style that we want to play against Texas this next week. But we're anxious to be our very best all through the game, you know, and had a couple people ask me about the end of game situations from last year and the 4 close games and the 7 one-score games, and we want to play better not only in the last 3 minutes, but we want to play better all the way through the game. And I'd like it if we didn't have to get to that point at the end of the game personally. So we've had a good camp at that, and you know, we'll start looking at different things as we get a little bit closer to going to Austin.
What are you seeing out of the running backs right now? Because that's obviously ball control is a big part of that.
Yeah, I thought Damian had a good day today, and I really like what I've seen from Justin Marshall. I think we have really 5 and a freshman who's on the come, kids that can play. Avery's had a good camp. Kobe's been a little banged up with his hand, but he's our most experienced guy. I've been happy with Keegan. Keegan's had a really good camp, and you know, he's coming back off that knee injury, and really does a lot of things naturally in our running game that we've used. And then Jalen Dupree is a good young back, you know. They call him the Sharpay, and but he scoots in there and finds a way to make yards, and so we're happy with all those guys. It's going to be a big part of our football team is our offensive line play and our running back play. We gotta start taking over games that way, and we've made a lot of progress.
Jordan Simmons has been with you for a long time, but he's calling this the most athletic team that you've ever had.
Yeah.
How have you seen that translate into how you're playing in camp and how you're developing?
It's the biggest team we've had, and it's the fastest team we've had, and so we've tried to, you know, my thing is I want to see it in practice every day. I mean, if we have guys that can run fast, we need to be running fast every day in practice, and consistency is the key. But I've seen it, you know. I had a pro scout tell me last week he closed his eyes and he could hear the hitting, and it sounded like an NFL scrimmage, and that made me feel good. That was probably the best compliment I could get. And but we want to be physical, and we want to be fast and play with great effort, and that's what all we've been emphasizing since spring ball started, and we're starting to get more and more of it. Have
you seen that elevate the competition though that you've desired for the last few years?
I think I think that it has, and I think we're practicing more like we envision practicing, you know, with the competition, and we just don't have positions where we're void of players. You know, last 2 years we've gone into the season with positions that we've just been void of players that could play and win for you. We don't have that anymore, and we've invested in the young players. They're growing up, and so it's fun to see every day in practice.
Brayden, you mentioned dialing back on the gunsling just a little bit. Where else do you want to see him take another leap forward in his decision making with the football?
No, I think he's got to understand that it's our offense versus their defense, and sometimes that means we got to run the ball. Sometimes it means we throw it. Sometimes we don't go so fast. Sometimes we go fast. I mean, it's up to us to use the proper plan for the situation, and that's, you know, every plan doesn't work in every situation. You know, there's a time to play fast and there's a time to take the air out of the ball, and I think it's experience that he learns from being in those situations that will allow him to apply that, you know, and that's what experience teaches you, and you know, we're seeing that from Brayden now, and he's had a lot of situations under his belt that he can learn from and draw to, and you know, and then I can remind him, hey, remember last year when this happened? You know, be smart about this, and that's helpful too, that you got common situations that you can draw upon and to get him refocused. So.
Thank you guys. Thanks, Jack.